We gotta just chill out, man.
Pittsburgh Steeler fans, and welcome back to another episode of the Scho Bro Show. This is Steel Curtain Network's Dave Schofield coming at you Tuesday night, a little bit after 9 o'clock, closer to 9:15 p.m. But where else would you rather be, Steelers fans, after 3 games of the 2025 NFL season? And with me, as always, except when he's not, is my big brother, Rich. Rich, how are you doing tonight?
We will take a moment and breathe in that sweet smell of a Steeler victory.
That's right. And honestly, this is the subject that we're going to be broaching tonight. And that is, sometimes people can't enjoy the victory, depending on how the victory comes about. The question ultimately is, are Steelers fans too jaded to enjoy a hard win? Okay? And when I say a hard win, a win that shouldn't have been as difficult as it was when all things considered. And we're going to break into that a little bit, but before we do, let's talk a little bit about the Steelers win, because I want to say something about it, because you breathing in that sweet smell of victory reminded me of a comment that I made when the Steelers went up 14-0. Steelers went up 14-0 in this game early in the second quarter.
You made the comment that was probably what was going through my head. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, and I put it in, this was in the open thread at steelcurtainnetwork.com. I said, I am not going to breathe easy, but I really like how things are going right now.
I actually said to myself, are they going to make it? Are they going to make it easy on me this week? That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I didn't say it, but I thought it. Later it's like, no, let's just make it stressful.
Yeah, and I said this, so I just thought it was very funny because it was the breathe easy thing. So, and you breathe in that sweet smell of victory, and that's one thing that I have to remember. Am I frustrated about some of the things that are going wrong with the Steelers? Yes, I am. Are they things that they should be able to correct? Yes. Are they things that they will be able to correct?
We'll see.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. But I get so caught up in that at times, and I mean, I was pretty frustrated with several different things in the post-game show. I was not afraid to say some of that stuff. But at the same time, I have to remember, I get to come here on Tuesday night with you, and I get to witness you breathe in that sweet smell of victory. Right. That is the most important thing. It really is. But it's also not the only thing. I've seen both on Steelers social media. I've seen it going both ways. I've seen people like, my goodness, the Steelers won. You should be happy. I am happy. I'm happy that they won, but I'm not satisfied with where they are.
Yeah, and I'm happy that they won, but I still have a lot of questions unanswered about the team, and that's what. So from my standpoint, Dave, it's like I enjoyed the victory. Like it was done. Like I know on Sunday night I was in such a much better mood because the Steelers won than if they'd lost.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, nothing is better than having to get up to go to work on Monday and it being a victory Monday.
Yes.
So those
the only thing that would have made it better is if that putrid purple team from our division, if their loss would have been on Sunday and you could have enjoyed both of them on Monday.
Right.
But also at the same time, you got to spread it out over 2 days. You got to enjoy that the Steelers won on Monday and then enjoy what happened in that game on Tuesday. On Tuesday. So I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, but it's not saying that I don't have concerns about the Steelers as a football team. Mm-hmm. I still have concerns. Okay, now I also know that the chances are good between now and the end of the season that the Steelers are going to win more games. And I also know that between now and the end of the season, the Steelers are going to lose more games.
Yes.
Okay? The Steelers, nobody's looking at it right now saying, hey, the Steelers are going to go undefeated the rest of the way right through the Super Bowl. Nope, forget it. That's not how it's going to play out.
Yeah. It's not that it can't, but I'm not betting on that one.
But this was a game. Let me put it this way. See, this is where some of this not playing guys in the preseason.
Mm-hmm.
This game, I saw more of what I felt like was week one.
Yeah, it felt like a week one game. That's a phenomenal way to put it. It felt like a week one game where at times things worked well and at times it was just not.
Yeah.
But we had to wait till week 3 to see it.
Yeah. So to me, that's what was weird about this one. Like, I want to see us get settled in a little better. Wait and see. So.
Yeah. And here, I'm going to bring up this one. This is from Outside Steeler Fan. And he says, we're a consistent running game away from being serious. I'll be honest with you.
We got to bring up the next one that he put too, though.
Yeah. He's like, and a defense that can get off the field on 3rd and 4th downs. Now, we're going to talk about that plenty, about the 3rd and 4th down.
I know, but I get what he's saying. Okay, I totally understand what he's saying. On the offensive side of the ball, if we could put a consistent running game together, that would probably take care of that side of the ball.
Yeah.
And on defense, if we didn't give up so many 3rd and 4th down plays, that would have things good on that side of the ball. It's like, okay, each side fix one thing. And you're talking about being a darn good football team.
Yeah, and I'm going to say it right now. At least this past Sunday, Jaylen Warren is the biggest weapon that the Steelers have on offense.
Oh yeah, he is.
I mean,
by far.
whether running, receiving. No, on Sunday he was. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Yes.
So, and I'm talking about weapon. I'm talking about you better know what's going on with him. That's the key. Of course, you can see how DK Metcalf is a weapon with that. I mean, that was a really nice touchdown throw. Both touchdown throws were nice.
Both touchdown throws were very nice.
And it's so funny because people will probably complain, Jaylen Warren ran him the whole way down there and Kenny Gainwell got the touchdown. You know what Jaylen Warren says? So what? I'm sure. I really am. And honestly, that was a decent looking play.
I liked it because it was. That was more of the, hey, we haven't seen a lot of that. We need some more of that going on because it was total misdirection.
Yeah.
The line blocking, everything went right. Even Rodgers comes out right, pivots all the way around and pitches to go left.
Yeah.
And that was a really nice looking play.
But that was one that felt like it was a nice looking play. It was not what you expected. It had some, what's the word you used? I don't know if it was deception or...
Yeah, because what it was is the flow went one
misdirection.
way, and the play went the other way. So it was total misdirection. And again, you're only needing 2 or 3 yards, and that total misdirection fooled the defense enough that getting those yards were easy.
Yeah, and in that case, it worked. But there's other times where it seems like they try to do something like that, and it doesn't. Like, I'm going to say it. At least this past game, Jaylen Warren was the most effective when you had him getting the ball, running forward, and running vertical, not horizontal, to the line of scrimmage. Anytime they tried to do the stretch play, and just want him to, it's between the blocking, the running, everything. It's just not there. I understand if Arthur Smith likes it, but you know what? Your team isn't there with that right now. But I'll tell you what, especially with Zach Frazier and Mason McCormick doing a good job run blocking, and PFF just adored Isaac Seumalo in this game. I was shocked that, he had a score in the 90s overall. I didn't know where that came from. It didn't feel like it was that amazing on Sunday, but still. But those guys, when Jaylen Warren was running straight ahead up the middle, That's where they were the most effective. So the problem is what the Steelers, what the blocking and the running back are best at is not what the offensive coordinator likes the most. So the offensive coordinator's got to get over himself some.
Yeah,
that's just what you got to do.
Yep.
So I think as we kind of hit on the topic of this show, I think that the thing with, I said, are Steelers fans too jaded to enjoy a hard win? Just to remind you what the show is. My thing is, there are things that the Steelers need to fix. And the problem is, it feels like these are the same things that they've been needing to fix for 7 or 8 years. And many, many, many of the players have changed. But not necessarily those that are implementing these strategies. And that's why I can say why Steelers fans are jaded, because you got to admit, even I was on the train this past offseason. I'm like, if the Steelers and Mike Tomlin decide they need to part ways for both of their sakes, just because they both need something new, because, I mean, my goodness, like Mike Vrabel said, we know exactly what they're going to do. You know, you're kind of in that rut. I get that that's better for everyone. I would not be opposed to that at this point. So even I was willing to go there, someone who's really been hesitant against that. So for the people that have been screaming that for a long time, that it's the whole idea of you're doing the same things, you're doing the same things, you're doing the same things. I'm just getting more data and realizing how much the Steelers are doing the same things. And honestly, to talk about some defense a little bit, I think that's their problem on 3rd and 4th down. Now, 4th down is a whole different story. 4th down's an all or nothing. 4th down, there's all the cards are you know, it's that's a different monster. Well, I'm more worried about 3rd down.
Well, yeah, because honestly, you wouldn't be having those 4th down things if we didn't play our 3rd downs the way we play them.
It's not like the Steelers are facing a 3rd and 1 and make the stop and then have to stop it again on 4th and 1. It's that they're facing 3rd and 11 and they're giving up 10 yards and then have to stop 4th and 1. Yep. There's a big difference there.
The huge difference there.
Yes.
Hold that 3rd and 11 play to 4 yards to make it 4th and 7, and they punt the ball.
Yes. Yes. So, I mean, I'm trying to remember. So much so, you know what? I'm going to try to look it up here while I talk, which is going to be interesting to see me try to do that. That was in the 2nd quarter when the Steelers gave up that 4th down, right?
Which time? They gave up 4 of them.
No, the first one of the drive. Of the long drive that ended in the interception.
Yes.
Okay? It was 3rd and 12.
Yes.
They gave up 11 yards.
Yeah.
And that allowed them to go for the 4th down. And even Coach Tomlin talked about, hey, if we could have got off the field on 4th downs, blah, blah, blah. Hey, that 4th down play never should have happened because you shouldn't have given up 11 yards on 3rd and 12.
Yeah, I don't understand why on 3rd and 12, all we're doing is protecting the sticks. No, we need to be protecting 3 yards or more from the sticks.
I was saying that I've been saying since towards the end of last year when this started to become a problem. I'm like, if it's you need to protect half. I was going to say 3 or 4. Honestly, I think the better thing is half. You need to protect half the distance of what they need on 3rd down.
We need to go back to doing the Dick LeBeau style. Mm-hmm. Okay? But to be able to do it Dick LeBeau style, you got to make sure you've got really good tackling.
Yeah.
Okay? Because Dick LeBeau's going to send an extra guy or 2, make you read hot, throw it way short, make everybody rally to the ball, make the tackle. Mm-hmm. But if you're not a good tackling team, that could really come back and bite you. But honestly, I would rather see that than stopping them a half a yard or a yard short just to watch them go on 4th down and make it.
And yeah, was it frustrating that 4th down play, I can't even remember who it was there to make the play in the backfield and wasn't able to make the play? Yeah. But I'm not mad about that 4th down play. nearly as much as I'm mad on that third down play, acting like it's a victory when you gave up 11 yards on 3rd and 12. That is not a victory. That is, and you could come up and hold your hand up and then it's 4th down. Whoop-de-doo. You gave them an opportunity to go for it. They weren't even.
That's it.
Listen, they were. Where were they? Where were they? Do you know where they were, Rich?
Yeah, they were on their own, like 22 or 20 something.
Worse, 15.
15. Yeah,
Their own
15, and they're going for it on 4th and 1.
You gave up so many yards on 3rd down, on 3rd and 12, that they felt they could go for it from their own 15. That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing to think that you had a 3rd down victory in that circumstances. Now, this is what.
Don't get up and give me that.
And I don't know that someone did on that play,
no,
but you see it a lot.
Yeah. Hey, 4th down is only good as a defense. Getting a team to 4th down is only good if they trot the punter onto the field.
Yes.
If they're not trotting the punter onto the field, you didn't win.
Then you did not win 3rd down. Now, if it's 4th and 12 and you're not going to get the ball back and it's ball game, that's a whole different story, So now,
but we were talking 6-7 minutes left in the first half, and they're going for it 4th and 1 on their 15.
Oh, it was. What's ridiculous is it was 5 minutes and 54 seconds left.
I know at that point in time, I'm sitting there thinking, Steelers, because we'd just gotten a sack or whatever to make, we'd gotten that negative play in there, and it
was Patrick Queen came through and threw him for a 2-yard loss on 1st down.
Yeah, that's right.
Incompletion on 2nd down.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, defense, get off the field here and let's put some more points up before the half, and then get the ball coming out of the half.
Yeah. I mean, honestly,
when they got there and I saw how close it was, I knew Vrabel was going to go for it.
Yeah. It was just inside of 6 minutes. To me, I'm not even thinking about the half yet when it's 6 minutes left. Honestly, and that drive ran out all the time until the half. That's what was so crazy about it. But the reason I'm frustrated is this. Now, I would like to get somebody who I think would be better at breaking it down than me when it comes to breaking down film, like a KT Smith. Maybe I need to issue him a challenge like he used to do with me with Stat Geek stuff. This is what it feels like. I don't know if it's 100% true, but it feels this way. So I'm going to say that this is what it is. You might not necessarily know what the Steelers are going to do on 1st down defensively. You might not know what the Steelers are going to do defensively on 2nd down. They might do something to try to confuse you in this, that, or the other. But when it's 3rd down, based on your distance that you have to go, you know what they're going to do.
Yes. That over 90% of the time, they're going to rush 4 and play soft zone.
Yes.
And it's been that way for years.
Yes.
And it's like until they... I'm not saying you can't rush 4 and play soft zone sometimes.
But it's clockwork.
90% of the time?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it is. If you know, the thing is, I mean, and like I thought it was, I saw it on social media where Coach Vrabel said in a pregame press conference thing, well, but we know what they're going to do. That's the story on the Steelers. In key moments, you know what they're going to do. Because for a team that talks about not living in their fears, all they do is live in their fears. On weighty downs. On weighty downs, they live in their fears. Okay?
Well, yeah.
And for those of you...
I'm so tired of seeing the second, incomplete on 1st down, 2nd and 10. Here comes the run for 1 or 2 yards or a loss.
Yeah. Here's a couple things that I saw. Bear with me for a few comments. Okay, outside Steeler fan that said the Pats beat themselves more. Matt Cat says, yes, Pats lost, not Steelers won. Okay. Then we get what was this? I'll just say Rands. I'm just going to leave it there. Definitely give credit to the defense for constantly trying to get a hand on the ball for the strip fumble, punching at the ball, blah, 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 blah. I heard Mark Madden on Tim Ben's Breakfast with Ben's Monday morning say something about these that was completely wrong about these takeaways. All 5 of them were takeaways.
Yeah, the Steelers.
It wasn't
all 5.
How many times did you see where it wasn't an interception that went through a receiver's hand and then the defender caught it. It wasn't an interception where the quarterback just got hit and it just went right to the defender. Or didn't get hit and it went right to the defender. These were all not turnovers, they were takeaways. The Steelers defense did a fantastic job of trying to and succeeding in taking the ball away. They did. I am not going to take that away from them. But I also think I'll just go say to finish up. Having to take the ball away 5 times in order to win is not something that's
you want to rely on every week.
You said it exactly.
Yeah. Coach Tomlin even brought up that ball security was something they felt they could attack the Patriots, and that
they found their weakness and exploited it. Yeah.
Yes.
But guess what?
Same way,
if you're not trying to exploit it, guess what? You're not going to get those plays. You're not.
Right. The same way teams exploit knowing how we're going to be on third down.
Exactly. Exactly. They find your weaknesses. It's been the same scenario for the Pittsburgh Steelers since what I would say easily 2020 when they were 11-0. It was fine. Teams are going to find what you do. They're going to try to do something to stop it. The Steelers were able to run through 11, technically 10 wins. The Ravens came out with a pretty good way to stop it. They were just so depleted they couldn't get a win. And then everybody learned what to do from there. And guess what the Steelers did? The same old thing. That's the jaded part of Steelers fans when it comes to enjoying the win, because you're like, my goodness, this could have very well been a game that the Steelers could have,
they could have won.
Fans could have sat back and it would have. One of the best. It's funny because I love that Christmas Day game that the Steelers had against the Ravens. That was so exciting. But they played on Christmas the very next year, and they played the Houston Texans, and that game was a complete blowout. That was a better Christmas because I could just sit back and enjoy so much of that game because it was not in question. And the Steelers could have had a game like that this past week.
Yes.
But the defense couldn't make stops on third downs, and the offense couldn't get going. And honestly, if you really want to, you could say that part of the reason they couldn't get going in a rhythm is because the defense couldn't get off the field. The two kind of fed off each other. So, but outside of third down, I thought the Steelers defense did a really nice job.
Yeah. Hard to argue that. Got pressure on the quarterback, got sacks, got the takeaways, it just so tired of seeing 3rd and 8, gain 10 yards. 3rd and 12, gain 11. Go for it on 4th, gain 2. That part was just extremely frustrating. That was my frustrating part of the day was the defense. It just like, come on, get off the field.
7.2 yards. That's the average of how much the Steelers gave up on third down plays. You see that and you're like, man, they're getting crushed on third down. The only reason that it did anything is because they were getting them once again, like last week against Seattle, who, they had a statement game on Sunday. But anyway, against Seattle, same deal. It was constantly 3rd and long. So giving up that many yards is crazy. If you were to say any other time you're giving up 7.2 yards on third down, you're like, oh wow, they've got to be like 80% conversion rate because you're assuming that it's 3rd and 5 or less. So the fact that the Steelers are getting to 3rd and longs, and here's the thing about that 7.2, one of those third down plays was a sack that forced the only punt of the day by the Patriots.
Yeah,
a third down sack on the Patriots' second drive was the only time they brought the punt around the field the whole friggin' game. So, and they lost 4 yards in that sack. You take that third down out of it, it's 8 yards a play on third down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So hey, on the chats, jump up. Not this last one there from Tyler. Jump up to Tyler's, the one before that, because that's a
Tyler?
great question I was thinking about during the game.
Okay. He said their TEs were killing us. I thought that was why we got athletic ILBs who can't stop the run.
That's the same thing I sat and thought while I was watching a game on Sunday, and we're getting killed by tight ends. I thought that was the reason we said we're not getting the big thumpers. We're getting the athletic guys because we got to handle these tight ends, and we weren't doing it.
I'll be honest with you. Does my memory serve correctly that really when Gronk was tearing up the Steelers more than ever was when Josh McDaniels was the offensive coordinator under Bill Belichick?
I think you are correct.
And what do you know? Josh McDaniels is the offensive coordinator now. Here's the thing. That dude, if nothing else, he knows how to confuse a defense to get his tight end open.
Yeah,
particularly the Pittsburgh defense, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. My goodness, that first touchdown to Hunter Henry, that was like, you run a play like that because chances of the team being able to communicate and cover it perfectly are small.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, that was a well-designed play. Now, on that fourth down play, I don't really, but that ended up being a touchdown. That was one, they're coming up. They just completely sold out for the run. And you can't, and they didn't run it. They hit the tight end on the easy junior league pop passes. But I saw somebody call it a junior league pop pass for the touchdown because they got the linebackers. Okay, honestly, this is my opinion. You can agree with it or not. I could be off a little bit here. But the reason tight ends can create such a problem is who generally matches up on tight ends. A lot of times it's your linebackers.
A lot of times it's your linebackers. Sometimes it's a safety.
Sometimes it's a safety.
It all depends on what you're running as a defense.
Honestly, I would have, and the Steelers weren't ready to do it yet because it was early. I'd like to see someone like Jabril Peppers get a little bit more involved with guarding tight ends. That's just me.
Yeah.
All right.
I actually very, 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 very much agree with that.
But here's why. Here's the problem. What's the one position more than anything that what you do and your responsibilities are so completely different when it's a run versus a pass, and you're expected to be able to do it all? That would be inside linebacker.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're the one place that you have to worry about both. Okay? Secondary guys, guess what? You want to offer run support, but your number one priority is to make sure that guys aren't going to get open if they pass it. Guys up front, what's your job? You're tackling the guy with the ball, whether it's the guy that got it handed to him and is running or the guy that held onto it and is going to try to throw it. Go tackle the guy holding the ball. The inside linebackers, and honestly, that's why so many of what do you think play action passes for? Is to try to get players that would play the run to bite on the run so you can exploit them against the pass.
Yeah. Now,
it's hard.
Here's the frustrating part in the whole tight end talk, though. Okay. Teams seem to be able to do things and get their tight ends into good matchups and really utilize them against the Steelers. Yet we have really good tight ends, and we're not doing the same to other teams.
That's what's frustrating. How can they have their tight ends so much in that regard and the Steelers aren't? Like, honestly, love the play. I thought I was going to hit on my single play parlay. I had plus 1,000 Darnell Washington so it wasn't a parlay, it was just a single play. Darnell Washington with a touchdown pass. Plus 1,000. $1 gives you 10. $10 gives you, well, technically, I would give you 11. Because you get your dollar back. $10 gives you 110. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was a good play. And guess what? Because I knew if it was third down, red zone, they're going to throw it to him.
Yep.
Like they did on the 2-point conversion last week.
Yes.
And guess what? They did. And the only choice the other team has is to either let him catch it and hope it's a bad throw and he can't catch it, or interfere with him.
Yep.
So technically, Darnell Washington did not have a target in this game, but he actually had a very important one. You know what? I actually hit on my 3-leg parlay for Corey's article. You know what I did? I said, I don't have confidence in anything. I'm going all Jaylen Warren. I said Jaylen Warren at least 16 carries, Jaylen Warren at least 4 receptions, and Jaylen Warren at least 25 receiving yards, and hit all 3 of them.
You're cool.
Yeah. I'm also going to now ask you a question.
Yep.
How long has Terrell Austin been the Steelers' defensive coordinator? I'm sure someone in the live chat can remind us. It's been at least 4.
Keith Butler left.
And when did Keith Butler leave?
Did he leave at the end of the 21?
It was sometime around there. Maybe someone in the live chat will let us know for sure. Okay. So this is a good. Sorry, I got interrupted by this. How was Spillane never isolated on John?
Tyler, quit asking such good questions.
Because we don't throw into the middle of the field. Okay. Yes. A lot of people are saying 2021. I knew I was going to wait for the answer. That's why I brought that one up. That's such a good point, Tyler. But since 2021. Okay. Before that, did the Steelers have a problem on third down, especially third and long, more than the rest of the NFL?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
So that's why I'm saying people that want to say, well, it's just Tomlin's defense and Tomlin's doing everything, then how come the defense is so different with this coordinator than it was under Keith Butler? Keith Butler, they got a lot more pressure, a lot more sacks, stuff like that. They weren't just playing the same old defense on third down. Doesn't mean that Coach Tomlin's not giving a directive, but you got to remember that.
Got a question here for you then.
Okay.
Do you think some of what plays into that was Keith Butler coached linebackers
Maybe.
and Terrell Austin coached secondary?
Yeah, and maybe, and that it honestly could have been that he had more confidence in him. I'm just bringing it up as a point to think about.
Yeah,
hey, we've run over here for the first half. We need to go ahead and take our break, but don't worry, we're not slowing down this talk yet because this is what we're talking about this past week's game, but it's really also leading into stuff with the Steelers coming up. So if you're with us here live, we're not going anywhere. If you're with us here on the audio, stick around. We'll be right back after this message.
Relax, don't worry, no rush, what's the hurry? Relax, don't worry, don't worry, relax. Relax, don't worry, no rush, what's the hurry? Relax, don't worry, relax.
All right, we got to relax. Don't worry. The Steelers won. They're 2-1. But yeah, there's still things. There's still things to work on.
Sorry, I need you to back up and pull up a comment that was made on there.
Okay.
Hold on.
The reason Rich has told me to is because I'm the only one who can do it. Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
Who was it?
That's why I got to find. I have trouble finding on there, so I'm back looking on my YouTube. So
Okay.
somebody said, "Tag on." There it was. It was actually Tyler. He said, "Has Austin ever coached a?" Oh no, he said top 5 unit. Someone else said had.
There you go. Has Austin ever coached the top 5 unit? Yeah, that's there.
But let's change it. Somebody else asked, has he ever been defensive coordinator before? And it's like, yes, he has.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
In Detroit.
Okay, correct. And Cincinnati. He spent 3 years in Detroit, 14, 15, 16, 17 in Detroit, 18 in Cincinnati as defensive coordinator.
But he was not
Then
there.
came-
Yeah, it was not good there.
Then came to the Steelers as senior defensive assistant and secondary coach, and then the defensive coordinator.
I'll be honest with you.
He was also defensive coordinator in college. He was defensive coordinator for Florida in 2010. But as I said, most of his stuff outside of being coordinator has been secondary.
Yeah, he's been a secondary coach guy for sure. That's what he is. But here's the thing. If you recall, when Coach Austin was hired, who was coming up on needing a contract that offseason? and really wanted Coach Austin to be the defensive coordinator. I'll give you a hint. He's not on the team anymore because he got traded away.
Yeah.
It was Minka Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
The word out then was Fitzpatrick really wanted Austin as the D coordinator. And I know Steelers fans keep talking about, oh, they should have let him go and kept Brian Flores, who was here. You knew the Steelers weren't going to do that. They weren't going to. They should. I'm not saying they shouldn't have, but you knew they weren't going to do that because they won't get rid of someone who has years left on their contract.
Yeah.
They don't do that when it comes to a coach. So would they have been? And honestly, if you think about it, when was the Steelers defense under the defensive coordinator, Coach Austin, the best? Was probably when you had Brian Flores with it.
Yep.
Yeah. And you look at the stuff that he's doing in Minnesota, and that's the thing Coach Tom talked about in his press conference today. He's got a large menu, is what he talked about. In other words, he'll bring all kinds of crazy stuff at you. But Coach Tomlin knows his tendencies, and he even kind of talked about that. What's the best way to keep him off of stuff? You got to stay ahead of the sticks. You got to stay on schedule. You got to blah, blah, blah. In other words, keep them from doing certain things that Coach Tomlin thinks that he might have a tendency to do because they worked closely together for a year. Coach Tomlin's got a lot of tape out there on what he has a tendency to do.
Yeah.
As his teams. And honestly, that's I think part of the issue. So I get why Steelers fans can be jaded in a win because there's so many things that the Steelers still need to fix. And a lot of those things are things that are the same problems that we've seen for a while. And it almost seems like a stubbornness of this is the way we do things kind of attitude about it. Does it mean that's really what's going on? Not necessarily. Are you ticked that one of the excuses of you can't do that, you don't have a very large menu for stuff on defense is because you've got all new guys in the secondary because of attrition? That to me, that is awful because you chose not to play him in the preseason. If that was going to be a problem, then guys needed to play more in the preseason. End of story.
Yep.
End of story.
End of period.
Yeah.
End discussion.
Yeah. So
don't forget, okay, you can enjoy a Steelers win and still be frustrated with Steelers the team. That's the biggest thing I want folks to remember. Enjoy the win when you get the win.
yeah.
That doesn't mean that it has to be all rainbows and unicorns and fluffy little bunnies. Okay? You can still be ticked off at some of what you're seeing, but don't forget to enjoy the win.
Yes.
Wins are difficult to come by. As someone put in one of the Slack channels today, think about this. After this Sunday, either the Baltimore Ravens or the Kansas City Chiefs will be 1-3.
Yeah. Or they'll both be 1-2-1.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, enjoy those wins when they come in. Still, though, ask the question. Still, look to see the improvement. Still, look for the team to grow it, to continue to move forward. My biggest thing now, week to week, is I want to see movement going forward as a team, not backwards.
Hey, when we're in December and we're talking about, hopefully, a lot of things can change between now and December. And hopefully the conversations are, all right, the Steelers need this to happen for them to get a playoff spot, for them to this, that, the other thing, or win the AFC North, all those kind of discussions. We're not going to look back and say, oh, man, that game in week 3 when you had 5 takeaways and still lost. Not going to say that.
Not still lost, still won.
No,
still.
I'm saying if they would have lost,
Yes.
that would have been the thing in December. You're like, my goodness, just think of how much easier it would have been if you just would have beat the Patriots who turned it over 5 times.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. They stayed. Now, did they win by much? No. Should you feel good about that win? In that regard, I don't think you should feel. I think you should be happy that the Steelers won, but it wasn't a feel-good win. It wasn't a feel-good win. It was a win.
Yes.
So, it's almost like the Steelers don't ever want to make a statement.
Yeah.
Seattle made a statement on Sunday. Minnesota made a statement on Sunday.
Yes.
Don't get many statements from the Steelers. It's once we get a lead, we don't want to do too much and give the other team a chance to make a splash play and come back. So we'll just, sit back and give up third and longs.
I'm a believer of when they're down, kick them.
Yeah.
That's how football's supposed to be played. When they're down, kick them.
Yeah.
Hit them
Yeah.
harder. Yeah.
Yes.
But you're right. That's not what the Steelers tend to do. And it's
Yeah.
like they get that 14-0 lead, and then it almost looks like we're playing to not mess it up. And you know what happens when you play to not mess it up?
You mess
Most
it
of the
up.
time you mess it up.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. So this was not a pretty win.
Nope.
You know what? Week 1 was not a pretty win.
No.
But they don't have a column for pretty wins. This isn't the college playoffs when you have to have quality wins, almost like is a whole different category of wins in order to have your resume. It doesn't work that way in the NFL. It's wins, it's losses. Does it matter that the Baltimore Ravens lost to teams that were ranked first and second in their respective conferences last year? Going into things? No. Do you know why? They were still losses.
Still losses.
Okay, they're still one. I mean, you are what your record says you are. But to think that the Steelers are, but how you're playing is determining your trajectory. And right now, the Steelers don't have that trajectory. Now, one thing I'm not going to get into, and you notice I haven't said it for a long time, and I'm shocked I haven't seen it yet. Maybe people have said it, but I don't know if they did or not. And that would be this. Well, the Steelers they never would have beat the Ravens playing like that on Sunday. They weren't playing the Ravens on Sunday.
We're playing the Ravens Sunday.
No one said that because I think we've covered that a lot.
Yep.
Now, would that style of play give you a good opportunity to beat a team like the Ravens? Well, I don't know if you're forcing 5 turnovers, maybe. You force 5 turnovers against anybody, you got a chance to win. So, yeah, if the Steelers were playing the Chiefs this year or the Eagles this year, they don't play either team, you wouldn't tell me that you wouldn't take a win. You wouldn't take a 3-point win even having a turnover margin of +4. You would take it. Okay? What Steelers fans don't like right now is that New England is not that known as that quote-unquote high-quality opponent. So it's more about who they were playing than how they won the game. Because if they were playing somebody that was, you thought more highly of, it'd be a whole different story. Would you take a 3-point win being +4 in turnovers this week, Rich?
When the clock hits zeros, all I care about is, do the guys in black and gold have more points than the other team on the field? I don't care if it's, in the end, it doesn't matter if it's 1 point or 50 points. The
Yes.
W looks the same.
And I'll
It
say
may
it
not
again.
feel
Yeah.
the same. It may not feel the same, but it looks the same. And when it comes to getting into the postseason, all we care about is how the W's look, not feel.
So, bottom line is, on game day, what matters is getting the win. How you get the win is all about how it makes you feel going into the next game. I've
Yes.
said it before.
Yes.
And that's really how it is. How you feel going forward. Are Steelers fans super confident in this team right now? I would say overwhelmingly the answer would be no. Because they have a lot of warts. They gotta fix those things.
Oh, I always I'm that guy's the prove it kind of guy, right? Mm-hmm. The game from this week, we got a W, right? Like, I picked the Steelers to lose in Foxborough. Okay, I was one of 2 people on the staff to pick them to lose.
I didn't read them all. I didn't.
Yeah. I think it was me and Sadie picked them both picked to lose. Everybody else picked them to win. But part of the reason I picked them to lose was after what I saw in the Seahawks game, I'm like, you're going to have to prove it to me.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to pick the Steelers this week because although they got a win, they didn't prove a whole lot to me.
It's funny here because here we go. We got one here. This is from Yins Up. Don't points for and points against matter when it comes to a tiebreaker? That was something Mark Cabali put out there. He said Steelers fans are up in arms because they're not doing well with the 8th tiebreaker.
Yeah. Is that how far? Is it really the 8th tiebreaker? I know.
I don't know if he was exaggerating or not, but it's far down there. Okay, you know what? Yeah, these things could be important, but you want to know what? Not as much as wins and losses are number one.
Yeah.
Then who you beat, who you lose to, when it comes to tiebreakers and stuff like that, beat a team you're tied with, stuff like that. Division record, they don't even have a chance to do anything in their division yet. I haven't had that opportunity. There's a lot of other things before it gets to that. So I'm not saying it's not important, but at the same time, it's almost like you'd sacrifice one in order to do. You'd sacrifice the first thing in a tiebreaker in order to be able to be better at the 8th thing in a tiebreaker.
Well, that's why technically, if you want to start thinking about that kind of stuff on the negative, you could turn right back around and take something like last week's game and work it as a positive, right?
Yeah.
Because you could say, hey, the Steelers might have lost last week, but hey, that's only a loss against an NFC team. That doesn't hurt us as bad in the tiebreakers.
Exactly. Yeah. If you're going to losing against the NFC or is the best way to do it because that's better with tiebreaker. Yeah.
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 What's
more important than points for, points against is beating an AFC team. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, just careful to everybody because it's one of those where we find we can sometimes dive too deep into the brush. You know what I mean? You're diving too deep into the briar patch. You're getting into those sticky things that honestly is not worth getting into that much. Right now, let's focus on W's.
Yeah.
And I'll take ugly W's right now.
Yeah.
As long as I feel the team continues to make progress.
Yes.
I would like to see us, I'm not going to care about these ugly W's if we get to December and we're clicking on all cylinders and we're where we should be and playing well going into the playoffs.
Yeah. And honestly, that was one thing I wanted to bring up here to finish this off before we turn the page. I had it in mind at the beginning, and then I kind of forgot about it, and you just brought it back up, so thank you so much, bro. And that is, remember, Steelers fans, I thought the story was the Steelers aren't playing very good football by the end of the season, and they played all their best football already. This is obviously not a team that is playing their best football.
Or if they are,
yeah,
we're going to be picking pretty early.
Exactly, because that's the thing of why the jadedness comes in, is because Steelers fans are used to Steelers teams that as the season goes on, when you get towards the end, they fade. If this is where they are now, then how bad is it going to be at the end? I get that, but that was in the past. Yes, it's still a lot of the same coaching staff, and I know that's what the issue comes with. So it all depends on how you want to look at it. It all depends on how you want to look at it. You can make the case either way. Rich, to turn the page, I want to hit a little bit of news because Mike Tomlin spoke today. Alex Highsmith is out this week. They're leaving the light on for Deshaun Elliott and Joey Porter Jr. That's pretty much it. I know that Big Brother Herbig worked out for the Steelers today after he had retired this offseason. The Steelers have a spot on their 53 still they got to fill. But a lot of times that's where you put someone on the practice squad and elevate someone from there. I don't know how they're doing it. But
Nasty Nate willing to come out of retirement, and he was probably only willing to come out to go one place.
And the thing is, he's not even going to get home on game day probably, unless people get hurt. He's an insurance policy. Yep. So that's what it would all come down to. And I checked on Washington's website. He's not on the reserve retired list. I think they released him. So he is allowed to be, well, sometimes it's got like, oh, you gotta see what's going on. I don't even think he'd be allowed to work out if that was the case. So that's why it was, if people were wondering about that. My thing, and I did find this out, I didn't know, no one said it exactly during the press conference. I'm like, when are the Steelers leaving? Are they leaving Thursday evening or are they leaving Friday morning? And I did see Brooke Pryor reported that the Steelers are leaving Thursday after practice. So that's Thursday, probably late afternoon, early evening. I also saw where someone shared in our Slack channel a report. This came from Alex Kozora of, I'm not going to say who he's of because it would make me throw up my mouth a little bit. So I'm just not even going to say that. But Alex does, he's a good source. He knows his stuff. He just writes for the wrong place. They reported that the Steelers wanted to do what I wanted. They were going to go earlier in the week. And the NFL said no. I wonder if the NFL has looked into things about teams going early and how much of an advantage they've had over the last 6 or 7 seasons. I've done all those numbers before, and they want teams to go at the same time.
That's what I was wondering. Is the NFL now going to dictate to teams when they go overseas, you leave this day?
Now, there's nothing they can do about the next week when the Vikings play the Browns because the Vikings are already over there. They're not coming up and going back. Okay, there's nothing you can do about that. You schedule them, that's what they're going to be there for.
Yes.
So there is no, I was saying, well, the Steelers could be at a disadvantage if they wait too long. It looks like there's going to be no advantage or disadvantage, that both teams are leaving Thursday evening. So I can stop complaining about that because I was already set up to complain about it this week. So that was pretty interesting. So that was. Yeah.
Want to make sure you see the one thing that was put out there
What's that?
by Let's Skull, a couple comments back. Just make sure you see that.
Gotcha. Yeah,
they're I'd forget.
Because they're looking for some Steelers fans to join their podcast. Yeah. It's there if you guys are interested. I don't think that's not our FFSN affiliate. We have a great Minnesota Vikings affiliate through FFSN, First and Skull. Unless that's one of their specific shows, but I don't know if I don't think that's one that I know of for sure. Because the guy that runs that affiliate, I was actually chatting with him today because I was wanting to know some things about when they were leaving. We asked a couple things back and forth. This is going to be a tough one for the Steelers. I did like that Coach Tomlin did admit some stuff with third down and how that's hurting the running game and stuff like that, which is pretty interesting. So I was trying to think if there's any other news from that press conference. I was in the middle of news. I think that was the main stuff.
Okay.
So we're going to get the scores in just a few minutes, but okay. Oh, see there, he said that they're not affiliated with Tyler. Tyler's not who I was actually talking to, but Tyler's part of that. Tyler's a good guy too. I was talking to Dave Stefano today, which I wouldn't be surprised if, I'm not sure exactly who Jeff has for behind enemy lines there, but Dave also does some of the FFSN shows along with Bad and them at times. So, what are your thoughts on this one? Not score yet, but just how are you feeling about this game overall?
Okay, here's where I would feel really good. Okay, if Deshaun Elliott worked his way back in, Joey Porter works his way back in, and we see Jabril Peppers, getting even more acclimated with the team, I'd feel a lot better about this game. At least defensively. It hurts not having guys like Highsmith, but honestly, I think with Herbig and Sawyer, you can make up for Alex Highsmith's loss. Offensively for the Steelers is where it's what are we going to get? Are we going to get into and get something consistent? Or are we going to grow, start to see, as I say, a little more dynamic stuff from the Steelers offensively? Not sure. You know what? I will top back and say, though, defensively, too, the other thing that makes me feel better is having Derek Harmon back.
Yeah.
I mean, he played 35 snaps the other day, right?
I didn't think he'd play that many, but they had 74 snaps on defense. That's why he played so many.
Yeah. And he played 35 snaps. And I thought he was noticeable on the field. Like, to me. Wasn't big, wasn't a splash, but he was noticeable.
I'll tell you how noticeable he was. This is the ultimate compliment. He was noticeable that there was times where I couldn't see the numbers and I couldn't tell if it was Harmon or Hayward.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yes. It was very complimentary to Cam Hayward in the way the way they were playing. And that helps. So, like I said, on the defensive side of the ball, you see certain things that certain guys, there it's all personnel stuff. If the personnel stuff plays out, Steelers could be in really good shape. Offensively, it's more about scheme, plays, philosophy, and so to me, that's the bigger question mark.
Yeah. My thing is this. The Steelers' defense is not the Bengals' defense. So Minnesota put up, and also remember, Minnesota scored 2 defensive touchdowns too in that game where they put up a bunch of points.
Yeah.
But the Bengals' defense is not good. They do have Trey Hendrickson, who's very good, who was neutralized because Minnesota got back their fantastic offensive tackle, who I will gush over constantly because he was one pick away from being a member of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And if the Steelers still would have taken Najee Harris over Christian Darrisaw, I don't know what I would have done. Because I knew that guy was going to be good. And I couldn't believe he was still there as he got close. But as soon as he was gone, I was like, well, I guess the Steelers taking Najee Harris. But if he'd have been there, I would have been like, no, I don't care. You don't have a player like that you could take there. Minnesota got a steal with him. And he's good. But one thing is they're missing one of their guards, and it's the guards that whichever guard it is that lines up with Cam Hayward. That's going to be tough for a new guard.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's some things there. I honestly, at this point of the season, would have much rather gone against J.J. McCarthy than Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I probably would have as well.
Not that McCarthy can't be a great quarterback, but he's not there now. And I would have rather get him along the way of him getting his lumps than have to have the veteran that's just out there saying, I'm going to let everyone else do their thing. They get Jordan Addison back. This is a good Vikings team that the question is, did they find lightning in a bottle for the backup quarterback 1 week against a really poor defense and a team that had just lost their quarterback? Or was that just what the Vikings need as a stepping stone to get back to how they were last year? This is a really big game for them. Really big game for them.
It is.
So I'm not giving my prediction because I give it on Thursday, but I will tell you this. It's been a very, 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 very long time. So much so I'll go back. I'll have that exact number again because I got to look it up in my notebook. I'll have it for Pittsburgh Standard Time. It's been a very long time since the Pittsburgh Steelers have won in week 3 and in week 4 back-to-back. Remember, they didn't do it in 2020 because they had a bye thrust on them in week 4.
Yep.
The week 4 is the week that the Steelers stink the most. It's almost like they hit that lull, that complacency time, especially if they're coming off of a win. But this is a much different game because of all the travel overseas, everything else there that's going with it. Rich, are you ready for your score? Now, for those of you that might be new here, don't put your score in the live chat. You wait until Rich gives his score. I will ask for it. Then you put it in the live chat. I will bring up everybody's. If you don't say the teams, then we assume that you have the Steelers winning. But I don't know if everyone's going to have the Steelers winning this time. Rich, what do you got?
All right. Here's what I got. Steelers, 20. Vikings, 24.
So you have a good close game with the Steelers coming up short.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Hey, I've got it out there. Scores, I'm ready for them. I hit send. Did it? Yep, I think it worked. Yep. So you bring your scores. We'll bring it up while I'm waiting for them.
Get ready. You're going to get 3 real quick right here. So,
That it's I'm
4.
yep. But while I'm waiting for them, I'm just letting y'all know there's some interesting stuff that we're gonna have coming out. All right, here we go. We've got first one this week is Brian Brown, 32-31 Steelers. That score wouldn't surprise me either way. We got 31-21 Steelers win behind 2 defensive touchdowns. So in other words, they think it's a Carson Wentz letdown game. Okay. 27-8. Oh, I didn't even say who said that. That was Captain Underpants. Sorry about that. This one was Matt Cat, 27-18 Vikings. Outside Steeler fan says 27-17 good guys. Useless Knowledge 904 says Steelers 17, Vikings 24. Dylan has 31-21 Vikings. I think I missed some more. There we go. Pittsburgh Toddy has 27-23 Steelers. Knight Rider 16 has 27-20 Vikings. Matthew Bunk has 27-24 Steelers. Then we've got Richard Adamson with 22-14 Steelers. We've got Andre Greed with 28-13 Steelers. You know who I'm missing here?
Yeah.
I'm missing the Forrids, aren't we?
Yeah. After was here earlier, but
yeah, I understand people are busy, got stuff going on. As I'm waiting in case anywhere come out, if you're with us live, if you look back past my head, guess what we got back there again? I got my new flags in, my new SCN flags, because I sent mine that was up there. It arrived in Dublin on Saturday, and it hasn't moved. It arrived there Saturday, and as of this afternoon, it had an update. Now, it could be it's a problem with updating it. So I'm hoping that it gets there in time. You need to look at the closed end of the stadium. I don't know if that's right or left from the camera angle. I'll try to figure it out. If anybody out there, you're listening now, you see that SCN flag, whether it's the black side, gold side, if you see that on TV and you get a picture of it, you've got to send it to me on Twixter, on Twitter/X. You've got to get that to me. I'm looking for the SCN flag. I want to see it on TV. If anybody sees it, you got to let us know. So did I miss any scores in there? I know people were talking. I don't see any scores. So make sure you're continuing to check in with everything. I haven't heard from Jeff yet if or when we're getting the Steel City Insider this week, because of, I don't know what Jim's schedule is. I don't know if he's going to Ireland. I'm not sure yet. So that one sometimes gets shifted around with them and the fix and everything else. Otherwise, we should have all your podcasts for you. Make sure you check it out, SteelCurtainNetwork.com, for all your Steelers needs. We should get some more Worthless 2 cents coming at the end of this week. I'll give a comp. Thursdays is my compensatory status for 2026 update. All kinds of good breakdown, all with things going on there at the website. Rich, what do you have to close us out here tonight?
please, fans, don't forget that because this week's game is in Dublin, it's top of the morning to you.
Yes.
The game will be played in the morning. So make sure you know
9:30
that.
a.m.
9:30
NFL
a.m.
Network and WTAE in Pittsburgh.
And unfortunately for you, Dave, but fortunately for me, Dave will be handling the knee-jerk reactions again this week, because I will not actually be watching the game. I will be listening to the game, but I will not be watching the game.
Or you might get enough of a break you could watch it on your phone a little bit, but
Maybe. We'll
maybe.
see.
Yeah.
Easier when I'm sitting on a pier fishing to just play it on the radio.
Yeah, it's probably better.
Yep. So yes, outside it's 6:30 my time. Yeah, if you're on Greg Benovit
Yeah.
time, oh my
Yeah,
god,
9:30 a.m. Pittsburgh Standard Time. Yeah.
yeah. If you're on the left coast, wow, that's early for football. But is what it is. Dave, I'm going to be back here with you again next week if all goes well. Although I won't be here, I will be on location. elsewhere. But whether it's the game on Sunday or us next week, I'm looking forward to it, as I always am. Because when it comes to the Steelers, I can't wait.
Relax. You gotta just chill out, man.
Can't wait.